The story is when I was locked up in the U.S. Marshals hold, basically like a county jail, I was waiting to be sentenced. And I was talking to this guy who just done, God, he'd done whatever. I don't know what it was, like 10 or 12 years in federal prison. And I think he still had a few more years to do in the state. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, man, this is so, I was just like, I can't believe this is happening. And he said, I know, Cox, I understand you're freaking out. Listen, he goes, there is going to be a time, and it's going to be a few years from now, but there will be a time. He said, you're going to go to prison, and there will be a time when you will be sitting around. And he, by the way, he was telling me a story that somebody had told him. He said, you will be sitting around and you will be laughing and joking and doing something, and you are going to stop. And there will be a moment when you will realize, like, wow, this is great. These are great guys. I'm having a good time. This is great. What a great moment. And you've had those on the outside. You have those sometimes with your friends, right?
Yeah.
But when you're locked up and you have that moment, he said, you're going to think there's no place I'd rather be. And I went, you're out of your fucking mind, bro. That's never going to happen.
Uh-huh.
Probably 3 years later, I was playing Risk with a bunch of guys, probably 4 or 5 guys. This guy's invading this country. This guy had an agreement not to invade that country. He rolls the dice. He invades it. Y'all can't believe we had an agreement. He's like, yo, bro, what am I supposed to do? I got to take Czechoslovakia, and we're like, we're laughing. There are people bringing us sodas. Like, they have guys that will walk around and sell sodas, and they're bringing a food, and somebody's like, yeah, give me a Pepsi. Yeah. And it's ice cold, and you're walking and you're laughing. And I remember I was laughing so hard. And I remember looking around at these guys and thinking, this is great. Like, this is great. These are great guys. And it hit me. I was like, oh my God.
Right.
Oh my God. Because that guy told me about his moment.
Yeah.
His moment was, they were standing around a burn barrel talking and shooting the shit one day. And he said, I had that moment. He said, and you'll realize it's going to be okay. I can do this.
Yeah.
And it was. And I was at the low security prison at that point. It was probably, I'd been there a year. I'd been locked up 4 or 5 years at that point. And I was like, this is going to be okay. So he'll, if he's lucky, he gets to that point.
Yes.
Because by the time I left, the last 3 or 4 years that I was, getting toward leaving prison, I was honestly genuinely okay. Like, I wanted to leave. You want to leave. You still want to live your life on the outside. It's better.
Yeah.
But you're okay.
Wow.
My wife is going, tell her. I can't, I'll choke up. She said, tell her how when you left prison. So I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm so mad at you right now. Okay. So when I left prison, we were driving away, and I remember looking at the prison. Like, I'd never seen it from the outside. Right.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at the prison, and, my brother said, man, I'll bet you're glad to, bet you're glad to be leaving that place. Something like along those lines. And I just started crying. And he was like, I know you're glad to be leaving there, but it wasn't that I was leaving. It was that, my best friends were there. And I knew how much I was going to miss them. You have it's called, survival guilt.
Yeah.
And I just remember being so upset and sad because I was leaving these guys that I just loved.
Yeah.
And listen, going into prison didn't really feel that way.
Yeah.
About really anybody. Like, I had a girlfriend that I was in love with at the time, but by the time I actually went into the prison, that was over.
Yeah.
And there were certainly no friends or anything that I missed.
Yeah.
But he will. Hopefully he has that moment, because God knows this guy's got a lot to figure out in his life, because he is a damaged, like, if I'm a damaged soul, he's definitely At least I was lucky enough to know I should have been in prison, that I really made a series of horrible, horrendous mistakes in my life. And I'd harmed a lot of people.
Yeah.
He hasn't come to that realization. God, I hope he does.
Yeah.
Or he's gonna do some really, really hard time mentally.
Yeah. Oof.
I'm so mad at my wife right now.
No, that was a really good story. I had chills. It was good. I hope that for Sam and like anyone who's serving that long a sentence, like I hope so.